Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And as you can see, we will be starting the Ultimate Decades Challenge. Yay! I've been wanting to do this for so long. I have been obsessed with it all summer, just like grabbing all the CC and all the information I possibly can. Oh, it's gonna be a little stressful though. Let's talk a little bit more about this challenge, because if you haven't heard of this challenge before, oh boy, you're gonna be impressed with this one. It is huge. You can see that my picture here, my background is Pinterest. It is literally one of the only places you can find the Ultimate Decades Challenge anymore. The Google Doc, unfortunately, don't know what happened to Morbid Gamer's Discord channel. I am not here to cause the drama or even to speculate, so I will wish them well, and I thank them so much for creating this challenge to begin with. Add on to the original challenge, which is the Decades Challenge, over on the Sims forums. I will leave a link to the original challenge. I unfortunately won't be able to leave a link for this. It is literally, if you go to Pinterest or go Google search it, it will pop up eventually. I highly recommend going on Pinterest and grabbing this and pinning it to your board. You will want it. You will want to save it. Everything is included in this Google Doc. It's still active. The links still work. I would link my Pinterest, but it has my IRL name and I'm not comfortable sharing that. Let's hop right into the Google document and we will read a little bit and get a little feel for this challenge. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you first jump in. Of course, I have it skewed a little bit over so my big old head can fit in here. But this is the Ultimate Decades Challenge, and it is supposed to span from 1300 to 2020, but it doesn't quite yet. Morbid hasn't reached that. I don't even think they've reached the 1800s in their own playthrough yet, before things went sideways. The show must go on, and we will deal with it when we can. This is the link to the original challenge if you want to give it a look-see, gonna decide whether or not you actually want to start in the 1300s. And then this is Morbid's link to her spreadsheet. This is hers and it is filled in. You can download a blank version. This challenge was originally created by Zombie Cleo to get your Sims from 1890 to 2010 and play throughout history. This challenge has been modified and designed so that you can start in the 1300s England and make it all the way to current day North America. If you're not American, you don't have to play it as such, but it kind of helps incorporate other Sims 4 packs. You could do the American history one. You gotta get a Western one, right? The point of the Decades Challenge is to, of course, challenge yourself. At the same time, live as historically accurate as possible and get your family's legacy to survive to modern times without dying out. You can expect a lot of tough times, death, and heartache, but still fun times as well. They have a side note here saying you can explore and play this challenge in whatever way you see fit. This is just the way I like to play and research I've done to the best depict history in The Sims 4. It is not 100% accurate to real life historical events. Of course, we just can't do that, and make changes to it as we need to, which we probably will, because I don't know American history. I will be probably doing it with the Canadian history once we get to that point. This is the big one here. There is a big trigger warning for this Ultimate Decades Challenge. It is trigger warning because we'll be playing through wars, pandemics, tragic events, and have Sims dying, which include newborns, infants, babies, toddlers, and children, and of course beyond. My depiction of this challenge does not in any way allow or support the ideas of racism, homophobia, incest, slavery, genocide, sexism, and colonization. Those things will not be shown in mine as well. I am not even going to be getting rid of the same-sex couples that are originally in the game as NPCs. We won't be like jumping in it. I can't break them up. It's just not gonna happen. And the original is also only, blacks can stay with blacks, whites stay with whites, and all other races also stay within their race. I won't be doing that. I will be doing Bridgerton rules. The Shondaland world is beautiful and unique and colorful, and I love it. So mine will be also that as well. There is no colored classism, nothing like that will be going on in my game. That is the trigger warning and the warnings in general. Now the custom aging, as I said, we are not using the classic calendar from The Sims. So our aging will be turned off and we will have to manually keep track of our own Sim's age. So using Sim pregnancies as a guide, that means 3 pregnant Sim days equals 9 months. So we'll assume every 4 days is a year. In the chart, it is constantly put in there, so we have a reference for always. As you can see, it is quite intensive, our death rolls. To get a little more realistic and to do some population control, you're going to have to roll to see how long your Sims will survive and continue to live for. Die giving birth, as babies, as infants, as toddlers, and teenagers, and so on and so forth. It all comes down to the roll of the dice, and each age has its own set of rules. It makes it a little more exciting and a little more hectic. Even though they are your favorite, they can still die before their time. A digital D20 roller is this X. If you click it, it will take you to a link to one. If you have a physical D20, that's probably the nicest. Then it feels a little more random instead of AI generated. Let's read on here, and it says, once you have a Sim pregnant and they give birth, you have to roll to see if the mother makes it through labor. When a baby is born, you must roll to see if they survive the birthing process as well. Mother and babies did not live very well in the 1300s. Every new age stage, you must roll to see if your Sims survive in order to continue on to the next age stage. The chart below is an example of one of the many death chances your Sims can roll. If they roll any of those numbers, then your Sim must die. It says to kill a baby, you can shift click on the baby and debug neglect so the baby can be taken away. Your Sim's family will be sad and emulate as though the baby has passed away. I haven't experimented with that, but that's probably the easiest one. Instead of just MC deleting, then they act as though they didn't exist in the first place, and that's kind of not realistic. But if that's the way you want to play, that's the way you want to play. To kill toddlers and children, you can move them out of your household, and delete the household you move them to. However, I suggest playing with the children and toddlers can die of anything mod, so it's a lot faster and easier to kill them off. I haven't, again, experimented with that. I do have that mod, so we'll have to see how that plays out. And because life expectancy fluctuates, death rolls will also be changing throughout this challenge. They won't always stay the same. Sometimes it'll be harder and sometimes it will be easier. If at the end your Sims manage to clear all the rolls, then for their end of life roll a d20 to see how many extra years they are granted. Elders are technically 50 to 70 years old, so if you do get a 20, your elder Sim is going to be living to the ripe old age of 90. That's what you want to strive for, but to get there, that's going to be a massive challenge. So the death rolls as of right now, at the birthing mom, if she rolls a 1, she dies. She can land on any other number and she's perfectly fine. And The babies have a pretty big one. So if they land on 1, 5, 7, 10, 15, or 20, they unfortunately are not born, technically. And so on and so forth if you see these. Now, the pregnancies using the in-game woohoo try for baby always until modern days, and give your sim 24 hours after giving birth before they can try again. Using MCC, Wicked Whims, or Wonderful Whims, turn on percentage chances using the chart down below. This one here. Depending on the age stage of your sims, using percentages is only for your heir sims. For your other sims who are not your heirs, you must roll a D-roller to see how many kids they are allowed to try for. The rollers and the number of kids they can try for will be changing throughout this challenge. Heirs can have as many babies as you want, but only as many as they can produce. So you can't have 100 babies. If you're using MC Command Center, which is a big, highly suggested, then you will need to set a higher household size to allow for as many kids as possible in your household. The note here is be aware of your computer and how many sims it can handle in one household. Previous gen heirs in your main household, if they are still alive and able, can also keep trying for babies if you want. The choice is yours, as in like the grandparents, the mom and dad. Once the heirs have started having children, your grandparents can still have children because they will be of childbearing age, and so they're having children in their teenage years. Try for baby once a day for your heirs, but allow a 1-day grace period after a birth of no trying. You need to give that mama a break. For the side households, you will have to roll to see how many pregnancy attempts they're awarded. This will make it easier for you since you don't always get to see those sims in those households. The number you roll on the dice means how many pregnancy your side households are allowed to try for. The number you roll on the dice means how many pregnancy your side households are allowed to try for. Pregnancy attempts don't equal the number of babies. For example, if your side household rolls for 7 pregnancy attempts and your sim gives birth to triplets, that only counts as 1 pregnancy attempt. Now, here's some more charts. We will probably get into this a little bit more once we get going. It'll be a little more clear as mud. So our Descendants, we will start our challenge with 2 founder sims, and once the family expands, then the lineage will carry on to continue the family name throughout time and history in an attempt to get to the 21st century. Make sure to pick a really good last name for your family since they will hopefully carry it on for centuries to come. Your main household must always produce a male heir, at least until we get to modern days. Your next heir that will continue your main lineage should always be the eldest son. If your sims fail to produce an heir, then the lineage can then continue with the eldest daughter's husband. However, keep in mind that your family's last name must now change to the husband's new one. If your prospect heir dies an untimely death, then move on to the next in line. If everyone in your main family dies and there is no one to take up the mantle, then move on to the next closest related side household to your main household. They have been bumped from the side household and are now your main household and must be treated as such. That is why we are continuing to kind of do a little rotational play behind the scenes to keep your side families well-rounded and well babied up. All other sims who are not your main lineage don't matter as much technically. So you can do whatever you want with them. You can choose to never see those sims again when they marry and move out, or you can continue following their family lineage. The choice is yours. However, if you choose to follow them, they are now your side household. Tip: keep in mind that side households might come in handy down the line. We may need them. Okay, so marriages. Once your main heir is old enough to get married, age for marriage will change throughout and will be stated. Then you will officially be able to pass along the torch and move on to the next generation. Once you've passed the torch to the next generation of your main household, they will become the new heirs. Your heir can marry someone of their own age, older or younger. Tip: I suggest marrying your sim off as soon as possible and to someone the same age to get ahead. If your previous gen heirs are still alive, then you can't move them out. Previous gen kids who are not the heir and are not married yet can't move out either. If your Sim's partner suffers an untimely death, then it's up to you to choose if your Sim remarries or not. Throughout history, most people did remarry, but keeping track of so many Sims can get to be a lot. So I'll leave that choice up to you. We'll see how that works. We may need to, or we may not. Depends. So the illness and events throughout history, you will find there are a lot of illnesses and events that will cause you to roll extra when the time comes. That is referring to what we have to do for war, or for famine, or for bouts of plague of some sort. The family tree, we can discuss the family tree, setting something up when we get to that point. So to start the Decades Challenge, you may start either with a teen or a young adult Sim. It can be a single Sim or 2 married Sims. The choice is yours, but keep in mind that they need to get married ASAP and start having babies. Your Sim must start as peasants. You should start in Winterberg if you have get together to emulate England, but you can really start wherever in your game. You cannot leave that Sim world once you've chosen to settle for a while, so pick wisely. I have chosen Henford on Bagley. I feel like the slower, cottagey feels are more my vibe. Start your founder Sims off only with starter funds for your family to buy a lot and start your farm. After that, set your money to 0 using cheats. Your founder Sims must be placed down on the biggest lot to allow room to grow for hundreds of years. You cannot have any famous Sims unless you choose to have royal NPCs. You cannot have a career since none of the in-game ones exist yet or are too modern. To make money and sustain your Sims, you can grow produce, fish, paint, woodwork, make candles, knit, have cows, chickens, and hens, and cross-stitch. When harvesting crops, you can only do so once every season, at the end of every season. Keep in mind to only eat foods available at the time. If using mods, then consider the Ye Olde Cookbook. The Ye Olde Cookbook it's not existing anymore. That is a mod by Little Bobub. She has revamped her harvesting and foraging mod. Instead, her cookbook is still a work in progress, so it is not out yet. It's very good. It's the signpost. She's broken the two pieces apart, and it is just the signpost now. I suggest having a 14 or 28 day calendar, seasons DLC. Otherwise, you can get seasons and holiday whiplash real quick. However, the choice is yours. Have dust enabled in Busted Dust as an extra chore to do, but no, you can't use any of the vacuums yet. Check out this mod for more accurate cleaning. You can click that. I think it leads to a broken and outdated mod, but I will be going over my mods very shortly, and there's replacements for those. You can only have color likes and dislikes. You can only have male heirs until stated otherwise. You must always move out your female Sims once they're married. When making your Sims, these are the traits you cannot use until stated otherwise, which is geek, ambitious, bro, child of the islands, freaking green friend, dance machine, recycle disciple, a vegetarian, and lactose intolerant. Unfortunately, this one doesn't let you click on the bits and pieces. Okay, so I have saved all of these before things kind of went kind of crazy, so I do have this. I don't know how to link it. It is not mine to share. Around 1300, centuries of prosperity and growth in Europe came to a halt. A series of famines and plagues, including the Great Famine of 1315 to 1317 and Black Death, reduced the population to around half of what it had been before the calamities. Along with depopulation came social unrest and endemic warfare. Okay, so this is the absolute, real, true start to the 1300s. And this is what I used to create my family. So because the average lifespan is so short, you can optionally start your decades-long challenge with 3 different Generation 1 Sims. So one of the 3 must be the starting heir. The other 2 will automatically become side households, and you must treat them as such. Go ahead and skip the side household marriage rules and baby rules for these Sims. Only these Sims are granted automatic marriage and up to 10 pregnancies. Keep in mind that that doesn't guarantee all 10 pregnancies will end with 10 children. If you're going to start with 3 Sims, your 3 starter Sims must all be related, all siblings. Obviously, your 3 Sims didn't just spawn out of the air. You may go ahead and make their parents for your Sims. The parents do not count as your first generation. Your 3 starter Sims are your automatic first generation. Roll immediately for the parents to see if they survive under their age stage. You may marry off your starting heirs at the age of 16 or older. Teenage stage starts off at 13, so you can marry them off 3 years after the start of the teen stage. The 1300s average lifespan is really short, so marrying off your Sims in their teen stage will be ideal. You can wait until young adulthood if you're not using mods. I am definitely using mods, and we will be doing this on the next one. I'm thinking this episode is going to be a bit too long for us to really truly hop into it. You must pay a dowry of at least 500 to marry poor, 5,000 simoleons to marry middle class, or 10,000 to marry rich. For all your female Sims to be able to get married. For now, of course. If your Sim cannot afford payment, then sell off the most valuable item your Sim owns and don't keep the money. But now your Sim automatically marries dirt poor. Only when your heir Sims get married may you receive 2,500 simoleons for getting married. Your Sims may divorce amicably. Only the eldest male heirs can inherit. If they have no male heirs, then the eldest daughter's husband may inherit. If you have no children left, then look to the next closest side household male to inherit. No Sims can woohoo or do any similar act unless married until stated otherwise. However, if your Sim does woohoo and has a child out of wedlock, then the child cannot inherit the heir title. Your Sims cannot have any leftovers. Since there's no way to store food in the game, don't do so until stated otherwise. You cannot adopt Sims for now, unless it's from your own side household family who has a toddler or child with no parent. If you're using mods, which is suggested, then check pregnancy chances further down below for your heir age stage pregnancy percentage chance. If you're not using mods, Sims may only try for baby. Your Sims can have dogs and cats as pets, but if they get sick, you cannot take them to the vet. If a Sim gets sick naturally in game, then you can't cure them with medicine. You can only use natural remedies. If a Sim dies, you can plead to the Grim Reaper to spare your Sim's life. You never know, it might work. Births must occur at home, not at the hospital. Babies can only be fed through breastfeeding and not by bottle. Unless the mother dies, then make an exception. Your Sims can have weddings with these traditions. My Wedding Stories DLC and these ones. So we will get to those when we get a chance. And these medieval holidays. I think I added in another one. I can't remember how I set it up, but we'll go through my calendar when we get started here. Build by. Sims can now enjoy a hot spring outdoors, but not an indoor hot spring. You must play with lot challenges, off the grid, and simple living. Since there's no electricity, sewage, running water, and grocery stores, your Sims must survive on their own. And trust me, that is extremely hard. You can have as many cottage living animals as you can afford. There's no electricity, so you can only use candles and lanterns to light your home until stated otherwise. You can use bushes as toilets, but all the toilets are too modern. You could always use the woodworking toilet. Sims can craft it until stated otherwise. There is some CC and modded ones, so we will get into that when we talk about the mods. You can only use the wooden bathtub to bathe until stated otherwise. Only wooden furniture is allowed in the house. You can only use stone, dirt, or wood floors and walls, no drywall, wallpaper, etc. Straw roofs only or thatch. Rugs and tapestries are allowed. Use wood counters. You can also download some medieval CC for your counters. Buy the oldest looking off-the-grid lot, stove, fridge, and other kitchen appliances. Again, there's more mods. Painting styles are allowed are landscapes, classic, and portraits. Kids' drawings cannot be hung. They must be disposed of or sold. What is not allowed is coffee and tea brewers, DJ equipment, earbuds, kids' tablets, thermostats, rocking chairs, mirrors, playground equipment, electronics, and anything that wasn't available in the 1300s. Place down a clothing line and wash basin to do your Sims laundry. And that is it. They give an examples of what 1300 homes looked like. Now our Sims pregnancy chances are 30%, 25, 20, 10, and 0. This is the side marriage roles. So some of our Sims, like after this first initial set of siblings, we'll have to roll to see their marriage role, or after they get married, they're then considered side households and whatnot. Then we'll have to do their babies. And then, of course, this is the death rolls for the 1300s. It is pretty much the same as that initial one we were talking about. And then pet aging is the same. I'm not too sure why we didn't. Oh, here it is. I jumped the gun. Harvesting. Okay, I won't lie. I've added a few. I did my own research, so I will be doing my own kind of vegetables in my plots and stuff, and we'll be allowing certain things that aren't just on this year. I went a little crazy. Now we have a few events that we'll have to keep an eye on. They are mentioned in the spreadsheet, so we won't forget when we're adding in our information. It will be here, and that is it. Let's hop into my mod suggestions. There is a ton. I will give you a few places to start, and you can go down your own rabbit hole to find your CC. Okay, so here is my Pinterest board for my Ultimate Decades Challenge. There is so many things that I have found on Pinterest alone. The one place that I really want to take you to is Lunamoth on her Patreon has a list of a medieval and fantasy mods list by Lunamoth. Is a really great place to start. You click into her list. It is also on Tumblr. So you go to their homepage and it is listed. Go through it. Really, you should. Just a warning. The Lovestruck has made a few things buggy, so you will need to, if you like it, you will need to really test out your mods before you throw them into your Ultimate Decades save. I love it. It is huge. You just click on it. It'll take it to the original posts. Their own CC is highly recommended too. I love their stuff. So Lunamoth has tons. Like they have like birth certificates overrides that make it look great. They've got the garden vacuum. They've got, you know, the stuff that you wouldn't think. Like they've got hairdos with the veils and nursery sets and dog leashes, baby carriers. Who would have thought? So there is tons here. I also recommend Little Bobub here. So Little Bobub right at the front here. This hunting and foraging mod. Sorry, I was calling it harvesting and foraging. The hunting and foraging mod is their new updated version of the Ye Olde Cookbook mod. They have separated both mods. So the cookbook is still getting worked on. It's still a work in progress, so they aren't releasing that yet. But this signpost, it's great. You can go hunting for wild meats and be used as like EA meats. And it has a basket. You can get vegetables and other types of produce. And I recommend this very much. It's a really, really great mod. And of course, all of their other mods are really great too, and it would be complimentary for this type of game. For an add-on for the hunting and foraging mod is the fire requires wood. It is really great. I know another great mod creator for medieval style mods in CC is Medieval Sims Taylor and Carpenter. They have quite a bit of different stuff in here. So here, that was my introduction to the Ultimate Decades Challenge. I can't wait to get started on the actual challenge with you on the next one. So for the next little while, my Wednesdays will definitely be filled with the Ultimate Decades challenges. Thank you all for watching. I hope to catch you on the next installment. And don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you're always notified whenever I post another one of these videos. So with that being said, bye guys. Wow, that was a lot of information all at once.